Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to Your Hero's Quest, episode 2. Today, we are going to talk all about how to find your quest. The hero's journey sounds so great and exciting and like such an adventure, but what if you don't know what yours is and you haven't really received that call to an adventure, or you aren't sure if it was the right call? You've thought about having a purpose in life and the fact that you know you have one, you're just kind of unsure of what it is. And that is totally okay. But I absolutely promise you that you do have a grand purpose for being here in this life. And it is a destiny that was probably written even before you were born. So I hope that this episode helps you find it. And just to know, if you are already living your purpose and you have found it, that is amazing. And I urge you to double or triple down on that. If you write about what you want out of your life, go bigger, go grander, go as big as you can possibly imagine for yourself. So, there is this Japanese legend of the sword, the jewel, and the mirror. The sword represents strength, the jewel represents wealth, and the mirror represents self knowledge. And these are the three sacred treasures of Japan. And they're actually real items that, as legend has it, have been passed down since 2,700 years ago when the first emperor took the throne. And they've never been seen by the public, but they bestow the emperor with his rule and his role. These items actually trace back to a myth that said they originally belonged to the sun goddess Amaterasu. In this myth, she was forced to hide in a cave from her brother, who was the god of storms, and she was taking refuge there from his great power. Eventually, she is lured out of this cave by another god who hangs the mirror and the jewel on a tree outside of the cave, and she is drawn by her own reflection. Her brother is repentant and gifts her the sword. So it is not the jewel nor the sword that are the most important, but it is actually the mirror that is the most sacred of the three treasures, because the mirror is the representative of self knowledge. And if you have self knowledge, then the wealth and the strength follow. This also made me think of the very well known phrase, know thyself. This was one of the Delphic maxims inscribed in the Temple of Apollo at Delphi. And I looked it up quickly, and it is actually, of course, the very first one of many. And it's the first of three inscribed in the very entrance of the temple. So, of course, this is also deemed the most important thing in life by the ancient Greeks as well. Know thyself. Okay, so what does this all mean for finding your purpose? Well, you can't really find your purpose if you don't know yourself and don't know what you want out of life. Have you thought about what it is you want while you're here? I mean, so many of us are programmed so deeply by society and just kind of on this autopilot life of getting money to pay bills and just kind of having a status quo, scrape by, get by. But you came here with unique gifts and talents that are not meant just to be dormant. Okay, so you want to know yourself and you want to know your purpose. How do we find your quest? What is your quest? According to our dear Joseph Campbell, it's easy. He says, follow your bliss. Go where your body and soul want to go, stay with it, and don't let anyone throw you off. If you do this, you put yourself on a kind of track that has been waiting for you all along. So we're going back to Japan, where they believe deeply in a phrase called ikigai, which they believe is the answer to a meaningful and purposeful life. It translates to reason to live and has been part of their culture for centuries. What makes you excited to get out of bed in the morning? What do you think about? What do you read about? What do you like to research or do with your free time? Following your ikigai frees you from that status quo life. It empowers you and is the impetus for inspired action, continuous inspired action on your path to self discovery and to your purpose. Because, of course, this isn't a destination that you reach tomorrow or in a year. It is that journey, it is the hero's journey that unfolds and unfolds and unfolds as you go. And again, as a society, we're just so programmed that following your dreams is irresponsible or unrealistic, and that you should just get a job that's stable and secure and work for someone else and just make money to pay your bills, and that should be your life. That Mondays should be dreaded, Fridays should be celebrated, and you basically only get 2 days off every single week to have to yourself. I mean, when you really think about it, in this precious, precious life we have, that doesn't sound so great. You know, time is again so precious, and we only have this one chance in this incarnation with all the things you were gifted to use and do in this world. So we've got to make the most of it. Following your ikigai lets you live every day with passion and excitement and joy and bliss. You won't ever have to work again, and you won't have to retire. You can free yourself from the system by following this. Okay, so what's your ikigai? What's your quest? What's your hero's journey? Take out your journal. We are going to answer 4 questions and make 4 different lists. Question 1: what do you love? What do you love to do? What brings a smile to your face? Is it painting, writing, baking, home improvement, or talking to people, going out with friends, planning events, whatever it is, put that on the list. A hint here could be, what did you love to do as a child? Question number 2 is, what are you good at? Again, this can be anything. It can be listening to people, public speaking, cooking, anything. Just make a list of everything that you're good at. Number 3 is, what skills do you have that you could be paid for? Again, this could be public speaking, writing, video editing, building computers, graphic design, fixing cars, whatever skills you may have cultivated that you could be paid for. Put those all on list number 3. And list number 4 is, what does the world need? What does the world need more of that you think? Is it love, connection, fun, health consciousness, spirituality? I don't know, anything. And a hint here is, what the world really needs is you to follow your ikigai. But we'll get back to that. So now that you have your 4 lists, you can see where these overlap. What 4 things, or maybe just 3 or 2, can come together if you were to make like a Venn diagram. Which one is in the middle of that diagram that encompasses all of these 4 things? And that can start to be a hint or like a light bulb of, okay, yeah, I can make this my profession. And you don't have to use your ikigai to make it your profession. Like I said, maybe your ikigai is you absolutely love baking and you just like to do that as a side hobby. But you never know, that could always grow into a business or making some money off of it. So it's just taking those first steps towards finding what really lights you up and what skills you have that can, all come together and also earn you a living. And of course, this doesn't have to be your quest for the rest of your life, because as we said before, as we evolve, so does our journey. So it can just be for now, like right now in this moment, wow, seems like this is my ikigai. This could lead me to my purpose or kind of unfold into a grander purpose if I just take these small steps right now. And I think it's also important to mention that following your purpose is a decision. You have to decide that you're going to do this, that you're going to free yourself from the system, and you're going to live an intentional and purposeful life. And it's not that it's easy. Of course, there will still be challenges along the path. There always will be, no matter what, but it will be fulfilling. And I just want you to know that you are so worthy of your dreams and following your personal quest. And not only are you worthy of it, you're destined. You're destined to fulfill your purpose in life. And we all have a unique one, because no one has what you have. Nobody has your gifts. Nobody has your experience and your wisdom. Only you do. And that is why you must bring that forth into the world, your purpose, your light. And this does take a great commitment to yourself, a great commitment to your mission that truly requires us to be unwavering. But it's exciting, isn't it? Now, right now, is the time to embark on your quest. Not tomorrow or in a month or a year, but literally now. Don't waste another moment of this precious life not finding out who you are and what it is you want out of life and what you want to be doing here, what you're supposed to be doing here. You are such an important thread in the fabric of the collective consciousness and life. So don't be afraid to start. And as Joseph Campbell says, doors will open where you couldn't even fathom them to be. And invisible hands will always come to help you on your journey. That supernatural aid will always step in along the way. We truly have to have the courage to look within and do self-evaluation and follow our quest. But again, following your quest and your ikigai and your destiny frees you from the system. It frees you from being used by the rules that we have here, and it lets you use them. When you choose the mirror of self-knowledge, the jewel and the sword will always follow. I think we're taught things backwards. We chase the jewel with the sword, and the mirror is nowhere to be found. And then the jewel gets lost, and the sword, we can't even use it. So when you have the mirror as your number one priority, the most treasured of the treasures is self-knowledge. Just know that you will be rewarded with bountiful wealth and strength to get through anything because you have committed to yourself and to a higher calling and to the divinity that you are. By following your bliss and saving yourself, you're saving the world. Bringing yourself back to life brings the world back to life and helps restore the balance and harmony that is so out of whack in this current phase. And this is kind of like the King Arthur and the Grail Quest. The Grail Quest was one of illumination that restored the court and the world back to harmony and balance and light, because these knights were questing for something so much greater than themselves. And again, only you can offer your gifts to the world. And don't be afraid if there, say you've done your ikigai lists and love you love architecture, you're really good at organizing, you're extremely trendy and fashion savvy, and you love decorating. So your ikigai could be an interior decorator, and you've maybe always considered that, but you're like, there's a million interior decorators out there, I don't want to just be another one. But you won't be, because no one has your eye, no one has what your unique style is and your unique business method and whatever it is you're going to offer. So don't be discouraged by the fact that there's already so many of X, Y, or Z out there, because there is no one like you. And of course, another hard part about following your quest is people's opinions of it. But don't let anyone stop you from this, because it's only their own projections onto you of their own limiting beliefs or their fears. So we have to be courageous to follow this no matter what anyone says or thinks of us. And even if you quit a really high-paying job or something to, work in a restaurant while you build a business or something, that looks crazy to people, but don't worry about what anyone else thinks, because you're serving a higher divine call. And I just think that in these very strange and wild times that we're in, we can think like, what can I do to make a change? What can and I always am like, I want to do something grand or be that hero that actually goes and slays a physical dragon or something. But what you can do and what you have the power to do is to follow your heart in this life. And it's through the path of spiritual and moral development that will restore the grace and beauty and light to the world. that has been lost. This is through you as that Grail Knight, taking that quest to your own personal fulfillment. When you heal the wasteland in your own heart, when we all heal the wasteland in our own hearts and remove the blockages from our heart centers where our spiritual force is held and let ourselves be all of who we are, is when the wasteland transforms and the light comes back. It's the light within you coming back, the light within you being fully expressed, that helps the world be encompassed in more and more and more light and be healed. We can bring balance back to the force through us, through each individual. You have that power. And I am empowering you today to find your quest. You can find it. I promise it is there waiting for you. And the minute you decide to step up to it, the doors and magic is going to start to unfold in your life in unimaginable ways. And one of my biggest spiritual teachers, Dr. Wayne Dyer, always said, don't die with a song in your heart. You don't want to die with that song that was still in your heart that you never got to sing. Life is so precious and it has to be sung right now because the world needs you. I hope that that helped, and I hope that you are inspired to find your purpose, or at least start to think about it. And if it doesn't come to you today, then that is okay. But once you start thinking about it, then the ideas will start to download in when they're meant to. I'm sending you so much support and love, and I will see you in the next episode.